Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to answer a question that a lot of musicians ask. What's the difference between use your ear, functional ear training, and solfege? Many people assume they're all similar methods for ear training, but the truth is they are fundamentally different. And if you don't understand these differences, you could be spending years practicing with little to no results. So let's break it down and clear up the confusion. First, let's talk about solfege. Solfege is simply a nomenclature system, a way of naming notes relative to a tonal center. There are two main types. Fixed Do solfege, where Do is always C, Re is always D, and so on. This type of solfege doesn't actually contribute to ear training in a meaningful way. It simply labels notes with syllables, offering no structured guidance on how to recognize them intuitively. In reality, most musicians using fixed Do solfege are trained to think in terms of intervals rather than developing true tonal awareness. This approach is fundamentally different from what we teach in our method. If you're new to this and want to understand a more effective way to train your ear, keep watching. I'll explain how you can dive deeper into our method later in the video. The second type of solfege is movable Do solfege, where Do represents the tonic no matter what key you're in. Movable Do solfege encourages recognizing notes and chords by thinking in terms of scale degrees and their relationship to the key center, an approach that is far better than interval-based training, which ignores the key entirely. That said, unfortunately, movable Do solfege is not a structured ear training method at all. I'm saying this because solfege doesn't tell you what to practice, in what order, or how to systematically improve your skills. In a few words, it doesn't offer any proven step-by-step process to follow. For this reason, it fails to answer the most fundamental questions any method should address. Questions like, where should I start based on my current level? What should I practice next? And how does what I'm practicing now help me get there? How do I know when I'm ready to move forward? What should I expect? How long will it take to see progress? And so on. Of course, having clear answers to these questions is the top priority of any method, regardless of the subject. Without them, it's easy to end up practicing something either not adequate to your level or conceptually flawed, ultimately leading to frustration and stagnation, especially in a complex field like ear training. Next, let's talk about functional ear training. Unlike solfege, functional ear training offers a single core exercise that gradually increases in complexity. It involves hearing a progression that establishes a key and then identifying the scale degrees of notes within that key. However, functional ear training has several major limitations. The main issue is that it lacks variety in training exercises. Since it relies on one exercise, it doesn't prepare you for real-world musical contexts that require many skills working together. And even though the exercise has a sort of gradual progression, this progression doesn't really follow how our skills develop. Another issue is that even though the exercise starts on a fairly basic level, even at this level, it requires a series of more basic skills in order to perform it correctly that are completely ignored. This makes functional ear training ineffective for many musicians that still lack fundamental skills, such as pitch matching, for example. Other than that, it doesn't train essential skills like tonic recognition and tonic retention. You're always given the tonic, so you never learn to find it from a piece of music. This is a critical skill that should be developed first. Additionally, most students struggle with retaining the tonic, which leads them to losing the perception of the key, causing consistent mistakes. Without a proper practicing strategy, lacking these skills prevent musicians from applying their skills to real music. Moreover, functional ear training also neglects musical memory, which is a key skill for recognizing melodies. As I said in other videos, you can't recognize something you don't remember. So retaining the melody is perhaps more important than being able to recognize the notes. Sadly, musical memory is not even mentioned within the functional ear training method, so you have zero strategy on how to develop it. Functional ear training doesn't cover chords and chord progressions. Most students assume that melody and harmony are separate skills, but in reality, they are 100% interconnected and heavily depend on each other. By using the proper mental strategies, recognizing melodies helps you recognize chords faster, and vice versa. Lastly, the functional ear training exercise presents notes in a random, non-musical way, so it doesn't reflect real melodies, making it harder to apply strategies like chunking and pattern recognition in recognizing melodies. Chunking is a crucial technique to develop for efficiently recognizing music and improving recall speed, and again is not even taken into account by functional ear training. Due to what I've just explained, many musicians who train with functional ear training find themselves stuck and unable to recognize melodies and chords in real music or to play by ear and improvise intuitively.
The notes that it would play would be kind of random and it didn't really feel like music, and once everything played in a real music context, it feels just different. So it wasn't like that helpful for me. And definitely regarding harmonic intervals or chord progressions, it has like nothing to help you tackle this issue. Yeah, so I felt like the process isn't clear enough. I couldn't see like how any exercise that I do is like building a new ability towards the goal that I'm trying to achieve. The main point is it wasn't gradual, and it felt like kind of random.
So how is Use Your Ear different? Unlike Solfège in functional ear training, Use Your Ear is a complete training system designed to guide musicians in developing intuitive ear training skills that can be easily applied to real music. Here's what makes it different. It works for all skill levels. The method starts from 0 and progresses to advanced levels. When I say 0, I mean the real 0, because many other methods tell you that you start from 0, when actually the most basic task they ask you to perform is not level 0 at all. So our method teaches you how to develop the most basic ear training skill of all, and then it guides you step by step through more advanced tasks until you get to an advanced level, like recognizing non-diatonic chords, key changes, non-diatonic notes, chord inversions, and others. And this brings me to the next point. Ours is a structured method. It tells you exactly what to practice, when to practice it, why to practice it, and how to practice it based on your current skill level. Your current skill level is actually tested, and there are benchmarks that help guide what you should practice based on it. But the biggest difference is that it does what I've just said while focusing on all sub-skills needed for ear training success, including tonic recognition, tonic retention, short-term musical memory, chord progression recognition, melodic recognition, and so on. But not only our method teaches you how to work on chords and recognize chord progressions properly, it also helps you connect harmonic and melodic thinking, making both melodic and chord recognition faster and more reliable by using chunking and other strategies. This is far from what Solfège or functional ear training offer, and it allows you to develop a thorough ear that's optimized for working on real music. We don't want you to get good at the exercises only. We want you to get good at music. That's the #1 priority of our method. That brings me to the next important difference. Ours is the only science-based ear training method available. Everything we teach is grounded in scientific research on how we perceive musical pitch, and we detail all the major studies in our lessons. This allows us to actually teach students exactly how our mind works and the mental mechanisms involved in developing intuitive listening skills. These mechanisms are many, and the method explains how they work on a practical level. Thanks to this, one of the most neglected benefits of our approach is that it teaches you how to think exactly. We provide you precise mental steps for approaching any ear training task, from recognizing notes and chords to chord inversions, non-diatonic chords, key changes, and more. You learn the exact thought process required to recognize music by ear and play by ear intuitively. This structured thinking processes makes a significant difference in your progress, and it's something neither Solfège nor functional ear training offers. As a consequence of this in-depth knowledge, you will also develop a reliable problem-solving approach. You actually learn to recognize patterns in your own mistakes and pinpoint the root causes. This empowers you to troubleshoot independently and develop your own strategies, building on the many we provide, to improve specific skills effectively. And I'd like to emphasize an important word here. Independently means that while you will find very clear and thorough guidance in our method, over time, as you study and learn the principles behind it, you will gradually become self-sufficient. Our method equips you with such deep knowledge of ear training that you will learn to diagnose mistakes, understand why they happen, and how to overcome them. Given all that I've just outlined, it's evident that there are significant differences between these methods. I often hear from musicians who don't understand why many of our students call this method a game changer, why they say it's the future of ear training, or that they hope it will become the standard for music education. I guess many musicians among you wonder, how is that possible? What makes our method so special? If you've been wondering the same thing, I hope this comparison has made it clear why our method works significantly better. If you want to dive deeper into the Use Your Ear method, the best way to get started is by attending our free online workshop. In our free workshop, you will assess your current skill level and get personalized science-based exercises designed to accelerate your progress. You'll discover exactly what steps to take to significantly improve your ear training skills quickly and how to avoid common mistakes. This workshop is completely free at the moment, and you can access it by clicking the link in the description and registering today. If you're not ready to dive deep into the workshop yet, check out this other video where I explain why short-term musical memory is essential, how it works and develops, and how improving it can skyrocket your ability to recognize real melodies. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below.